So on today's episode of So You Want to Be a Farmer, we're going to look at some of this equipment out here. It gets ready for the 2024 hay season. I still need to acquire a hay rake. I think I'm going to look at one of those in the local auction that's coming up in April. That should be plenty of time. I've done some work to the hay tedder. It needed us a few repairs, just a few tines that were missing and broken, a few of the arms, and it had some shear pins that were broke off. So I think it's pretty well ready to go. Now I want to take a look at the baler. It's been setting up for a while, so it might need a few little miscellaneous parts. So come along. One thing I still need to fix with the tedder here is the drive shaft. It's stuck. It won't move in and out. It's seen better days. I'm going to try and pry it apart and see what we can do with it. So it's certainly not operating as it should. Everything else seems to work fine. It is manual. It's a H&S ST520. It's I think they call these 4 gangs or 4 barrel, but it's almost 12 foot wide whenever it's all the way down. So you can get 2 windrows and spread it out nicely. I bought this at an auction fairly cheaply. It needed a few repairs, a few handles. This one was broke off. It got the farmer repair. That's what it should look like, brand new. This one doesn't have hydraulics to let it up and down. I may add those later, but this will get the job done. So, and that's all I really needed. Looking at the hay baler, it's a New Holland Hayliner 310. Bought this one used from a dealer, and someone had traded it in, and it's in pretty good shape. It's could use a good cleaning, but I've run a little bit of grass through it. It did work just fine. It's been sitting in the shop here though for a little while. The chains, they all look good, but they are pretty dry. I need to put some oil on these. One thing, if you're looking at these balers, there's a spacer in here off the flywheel, and it seems like all of these seem to have a little bit of play in them. I don't know that I've ever looked at one brand new, but any of the ones that I've seen, they all have a little bit of play, so that seems to be pretty normal. Do have an old bale in there. I need to get that out. You really probably should not store old bales in there. It just decays the equipment. It's not really good. You should clean them out. I did not. Still got some baling twine left over. We need a couple more rolls. Need to put the next 2 in there and tie those ends to the ends of these. So when you're in the field, hopefully those little small knots will pass through here, pass down through the knotters, and you'll never skip a beat. At least there is a nice diagram here to show you how it should run. In here, this one here's got a little spring on it. It works pretty good. These 2 look pretty decent. This one might be a bit short, but I think that's the way it's supposed to be. I could be wrong. There's another set back here. Oh, I don't know if you can see that, but it needs a spring, so I'll have to pick up a spring. This tire over here on this side starting to have seen better days. It might get a new tire this year. I can go find one here locally. They're not that expensive, so we'll probably put one on. Down here, I've gone through this before, and there's some teeth that I replaced. Looks like there's a couple more that I could probably do, but for the most part, they're all there. If you're missing a couple here and there, it doesn't really matter. Oh boy. So of course the old Baler wire, twine rather, it disintegrated, but pull out a flake and it still looks pretty decent. It's not terrible. I don't know that I would feed it, but it'll make decent bedding for chickens. Knotters still look decent. The hay dogs, which I don't know if you can see that or not, but there's one there, there's one there, there's one on the other side, there's two on the bottom. They work pretty good. The tensioners here, of course, they've been loosened up so that they could get the hay bale out. Counter might have rolled over once or twice, but only shows almost a little less than 500 bales. And overall, it's in pretty good condition. The next thing to tackle is going to be the Haybine. I also bought this at auction, fairly cheaply. It's once over, it looks pretty decent. I turned it on a couple times. I want to look closer at the wobble box and the some of the other items, the sickle bar. Most of it looks pretty decent. The rollers still look pretty good. There's no chunks missing out of it. There's no signs of rot on the rubber where they start to show a lot of cracks in the rubber. It still looks pretty decent. Got some farmer fixes on it that we're going to try and work on. They must have had some issues at one point. So I'm going to try and weld that back up. And then we'll need to see if the springs are set right so that it will float on the ground. Still looks pretty decent though. I think it'll make nice hay.